So one thing that's really unique about enumerations in Java is that they are actually full functional classes. And a lot of people that have come from a C, C++, or even a C# background find this a little bit hard to believe and a little hard to understand why would they do this in Java. But once you start using this functionality, you'll find that enumerations in Java really, in my opinion, are the best because having them be full-fledged classes really adds some convenience that you can't get when enumerations are just represented as integers. So I have a diagram here, and you can see here that we have a diagram of weekdays if we created a weekdays enumeration and what it would look like conceptually. And you can see that the weekdays enumeration that we created would inherit from basically an enum class. There's actually a class defined in Java that defines an enum. And then each weekday in that enumeration would actually inherit from the weekdays, or it's a type of weekdays. And so you would have your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. But these are all classes, and I'm showing a class diagram here to kind of emphasize that point. And this is really, when you see an enumeration, this is what it looks like. In a lot of other programming languages, if you looked at an enumeration would really just be a way of seeing an integer, a way of naming an integer. And that's not the case in Java. You cannot cast a Java enumeration to an integer. So the enum class itself, it is kind of handy in Java. It gives us a values method that lets us iterate through all the enumerations. So any enumeration class that you declare in Java, you can call .values on it, and it will give you a iterable list of every value that's in that enumeration, which is really useful for going through and checking through an enumeration or mapping an enumeration to something else. Of course, an enumeration has constructor, or by default, you wouldn't even see the constructor, but you can add a constructor. And when you do that, you basically declare an enumeration and you pass in whatever parameters in that declaration of each enumeration in the enum type. It also can have members. And one really convenient thing that you can use an enumeration for in Java is a simple singleton. Now, it's not going to be a complicated application of a singleton. If you're familiar with the singleton pattern, it's basically a pattern that says you can only have one of a certain thing. But an enum class really works very nicely for this. You don't have to write guard clauses and all the code to implement a singleton. You can just declare an enumeration and use that as your singleton in Java.